this? Fantastic. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Hitesh Bhatia. A lot of you know me, a lot of you don't. Good to see so many familiar faces, so many nice faces, so many pretty faces. For those of you who don't have your videos on, I love you too, and I would love to see you. I think we're all beautiful, and you might be in your pajamas, you might be cooking in your kitchen, or you might be eating dinner, but we're all beautiful, and I love to see people. And I think that's one of the ways that we stay connected wherever in the world that we are. And I think we probably have people from, I would say, maybe 40 different cities in India, and maybe 10 to 15 different countries all over the world. A warm welcome to all of you. My name is Hitesh Bhatia. I'm the CEO of Joining Hands. A quick introduction about myself. I'm a past life regression therapist. Yes, past lives do work. I've experienced them. They are beautiful. And when I went to my therapist, I first thought I was crazy for what I saw. Then I thought she was crazy for making me see what I saw. And I thought that in this crazy world, I could probably add to the craziness by becoming a therapist myself. So I went and I studied past life regression therapy myself. I started practicing in the year 2019. And then when COVID struck in 2020, we sort of were led by the universe to create this beautiful platform called Joining Hands, where we could bring together people from all parts of the world, bring together people from different dimensions, different countries, different geographies, and tell them talk to them about the beautiful work of alternate healing. With us today, we have Claes. Claes is now, I will say, a dear friend. You know, he was introduced to me by one of my teachers, Marion. And when I met Claes for the first time, I thought Netherlands, long hair. And I said, Claes is doing some interesting things over here. But as we got talking and as we got speaking, I started falling more and more in love with the work that Claes does. I faintly remember a conversation of asking Claes something about family constellations. And he said, Hitesh, don't worry, we'll figure it out together when we're in India. And for me, that statement itself was so settling that we don't need to know all the answers. We don't need to know all the questions. You know, we need to be like, just like the river that flows, and all it knows is to flow. And so today we'll talk. Claes is going to be coming to India. Before you guys joined in, Claes and I were having a short talk about all the food that I'm going to make him taste in India, from the sev puri to the pani puri to the bel puri. And I hope, Claes, you can tolerate the Indian spice. India is known for its spice, and India is also known for its spicy women. So you're going to have a fun time when you are in India. And so today we're talking about two very diverse topics. And the reason we chose this is because when Claes is coming to India, he's going to be doing work on these areas. So in India, he's of course going to be teaching family constellations. And then he's doing two workshops, one on obesity. Well, I don't like calling it obesity so much. I think it's more about weight dynamics, because obesity sort of gives it a very negative tinge. And land and property. And so yeah, weight dynamics and land and property is what we're going to be doing work on when Claes is in India. And I know, Claes, we've spoken about this earlier, and just a very fun interactive conversation. No format and no protocol. It's just you and me having fun. Forget we've got the 120 people in the room. Just imagine you and I are at a coffee shop in Amsterdam. Not those kind of coffee shops, but just sitting at a coffee shop in Amsterdam. And I am absolutely new. Tell me what really is family constellations in a nutshell, because people really want to know what are family constellations. How do they help? I mean, we all suffer from this why me syndrome. I'm sure you've been through it, and I've been through it multiple times. I had a lovely argument with my wife today evening. And while I was driving back, I was like, why me? Why do I have to go through this when I can enjoy the drive and sit and have this argument with my wife? But what really is family constellations? And, how do they work? Well, what is it that they really do? What power do they bring to the space of healing?
Hello, everybody. I'm Claes-Berend. I'm from the Netherlands, and next week I will be in Mumbai, which I really look forward to. And I especially look forward to spreading my and sharing the experience that I have built up in the last 23 years, I guess. And I'm also a regression therapist. I've studied at the same school as Hitesh. We know each other from Hans ten Dam and Marion Boon and the people that have been teaching us both and many other people. And that has deepened my experience with family constellations because I've studied family constellations, 23 years, 25 years ago. I I found out in just before 2000 about family constellations, and I have translated and worked together with the founder of Family Constellations, Bert Hellinger, and with all kind of people doing constellations. And it's getting more and more complicated to tell in short what family constellations is about, but it is an experimental interactive method to face trauma and karma and pain in the past, all things that have to be resolved so you can lead a more happy, free, responsible life. So you are free and more peaceful. And Bert Hellinger always said, well, one thing is for sure, you are born, when you were born in a family. And you are born with the blood of your both of your parents, your father and your mother. And all the obstacles and all the challenges that you meet today somehow um, can you can relate them to the blood connection that you have with your parents and even the parents of your parents and their upbringing. So family constellations is a way of healing and is a way of making you free, setting you free from the boundaries from the family where you're from. And maybe you're connected with them in entanglements and you have energetic connections with them. And of course, you have biological connections. And that's a very strong influence on your behavior today, on the feeling of freedom, on also what you like and what you're good at and your qualities in the nowadays, but also in the obstacles that you find. And the obstacles can be very physical, for instance, on your own body and your own health and the way you treat yourself and the way you are able to treat yourself, but also on how you deal with other people. So conflicts, relationships, and especially, of course, there's a lot of influence from the family, from your background, when you have to deal with your own family members. If we are going to talk about land and property in the family, then that's also a subject where you have to deal with family. But the challenges don't only have to be with have to do with the family of origin, because everything you meet in life, all the challenges you meet in life, are connected with your own childhood, with your upbringing, with with the people who raised you up, with your blood connections, everything in your life. So that's maybe a brief introduction, and maybe about the method. It's a little bit strange, but we do it usually in a workshop with 5 or 10 or 15 people, and everybody in the room are asked to participate in the healing process of other people. I find that really beautiful about family constellations, that everybody in the room is also serving in the healing of others. And it's an experimental method in which every constellation we find out where's the resolution for the person asking a constellation, and the others are like stand-ins in a tableau vivant, something like that, are are stand-ins, and they represent sometimes relatives um, uh, of the person who is asking for a constellation. And I'm fully in love with that method
Oh
of
yeah,
healing.
I love it too. In fact, I have a constellation happening tomorrow. So if you are for those of you who are in Mumbai, and I have a constellation happening with I am the client, and I have a problem I'm going to address. And those of you who are in Mumbai and would like to join me, it is in Borivali. And if you're interested, just drop me a message. I'll put my number on the chat. But so here's something I tried class, because with joining hands, I meet a lot of people who constantly keep on asking me what a family constellation.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a constellator.
No.
But the things I loved about family constellations was, one, I learned it's one of the only healing modalities, or rather one of the few, I would say, which you do with your eyes open.
Yeah.
So, in healing and meditation, we always talk about closing our eyes. But what my wife taught me, and I really loved it, she said, it's the only healing modality in which your eyes are open. And it's like a psychodrama. It's like a group where within the group, you have an issue and you work with the hidden dynamics of the universe. There is a lot that comes out which the universe sort of guides and directs you to resolve within the constellation. It really is tough to explain. I took a friend, a very, very logical friend of mine who is here today, also a couple of weeks back, to see a constellation and experience a constellation. And he literally came back saying, what the F is happening?
Yeah.
That was his literal reaction. So if you really haven't experienced a family constellation and you are in Bombay, please join me tomorrow. It is in person. Or if you would want to experience one online, we actually have a group called Family Constellations within Joining Hands, where we regularly post requests asking for participants for constellations. I'm just trying to pull that up on my screen, and I can actually, here it is right here. I can show it to you on my screen. So we have a WhatsApp group. So it's called the Family Constellation Group. So this is what's happening tomorrow, actually, today. 9th of August, 9 p.m., 10th of August, 1:30 p.m., 2 p.m. This is the one I am going for, 3 p.m., 11 p.m. And we have constellations happening every day. Most of them are free. I would say 99% of them are free, unless mentioned by the therapist. There are like literally therapists posting requests every day for participants for constellations. It is something that you have to experience once to understand how a group of people who are absolutely not connected to each other can come and heal not only the client who is there to address the issue, but everyone else who participates in the issue. Am I right, Claes? I hope I said that rightly.
It's beautiful said, and it's a way where you where you heal yourself and your system with your eyes open, and you are standing up and look each other in the eyes, and you're not sitting or laying down. You really have to stand up for your healing also, and
Yes.
and it's really connecting with other people. So if you are interested in family constellations, I really advise you to first do a family constellation in person, to really feel the healing and the field and all the invisible energies that are going through everybody that's in the room, and you feel it resonating. And that's the magical part of it, of which I don't know how it works in my mind, but I know and seen and experienced with how it works in my heart and in my resonance, and how I vibrate from it in my soul.
Yeah. I think that's the question. Even I never figured out how it works, but it's like asking the question, why was I chosen to be born to my parents?
Yeah.
Why did I choose to be born in the Bhatia family?
Yeah.
Why did I choose to, be born to these two parents and these 4 grandparents and these 8 great grandparents, all the 16 great grandparents?
Yeah.
And that's what the dynamics of the field unfolds. So that's about family constellations.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, now let's move to the interesting topic, class, weight and weight
Wait.
dynamics.
Yes.
I think everyone. I'm sorry. I just would like to answer a question that somebody has asked me. That anybody can attend a constellation.
Anybody
Yeah.
who can understand English can do a constellation with me, and anybody, I think, from the age of 13, and you can, and if you can keep up some concentration and focus for a few hours, that's enough. You
Yes.
don't need anything, any experience, any knowledge, any you don't have to be able to feel very well, or you don't have to be able to be really smart. You can attend a constellation, and if you're interested in your own transformation, in your growth, in yourself, then it's really for you. I think everybody should join constellations and should find that healing process that's going on, because it's
Yeah.
really profound.
Yeah. So let's move to the hot topic, weight dynamics. I think
Yes.
that's a topic that everyone, man, woman, child, everyone seems to be interested in. And I did see that you sent me a lot of notes about weight dynamics, class,
Yes.
to talk about what really are weight dynamics. And I love the research that you did. So
Yes.
what really is the understanding of, what really will the field show us? And I mean, we'll talk about the workshop and how it will grow, but what really is the understanding about weight? Is it about loving your body? Is it about not loving your body? Is it
It's
about shedding? Sorry, please go on.
it's about everything you say, and much more. Um, of course, weight dynamics all have to do with having a healthy relationship with yourself, and feeling fulfilled. Um, and so when you're happy with yourself and happy in your life, and you don't meet all kind of karma and trauma from the past, then you're really a lucky person. And most of us have not been that lucky that they are raised in a family and with a background where everything was safe, clear, and supporting. And from that, a lesser healthy or happy relationship with yourself, your weight, the food that you take, your body. It's not your fault. It's the background of trauma, of unhealthy past, of burden that's following you. When you stand in the line of your family, and you stand in your life completely fulfilled by being acknowledged by your being seen by your parents, and you feel that from that the flow of strength and love has gone to you without any hesitation, then probably you could be a lot more healthy than you are. Or if you have chosen in a child, before you were even conscious, to follow somebody, or be loyal to somebody, and you follow somebody in, I don't w- I'm not able to be more happy than you or more healthy than you, then you can even follow somebody unconsciously in their unhealthy relationship with themselves or with their weight. And accepting and seeing what your own dynamic is, whether it's, I'm not really have been born in the fountain of love, or I'm following somebody who was overweight, and or I'm not giving myself, I'm not allowing myself to be more loved or more healthy than one of my parents or siblings or grandparents. For everybody, it's a different dynamic, and there are too many to count. I've been researching them, and from all the transcripts, from all constellations that I did, there are so many dynamics. You have to find the dynamic for yourself, and only a real family constellation can provide of that. But in the family of origin and in your ancestors, there are so many causes for why you or are addicted, or you are mad at somebody, at some of your parents, because, or you have been lonely, or you're lacking in yourself, you're just lacking fulfillment in yourself, and you find a neediness which is not, you are not doing the neediness is going through you. It's really something that's filling your mind, and that's emptying your heart, and we have to find out where it is. And I can call all the different dynamics about it, but for you in person, for the person who has this relationship with weight that you don't really like, we have to really find out in an experimental way. Am I too fast? Am I clear?
No, absolutely. And I think it is different dynamics for everyone, and I love the way you put it, Claes, because I don't think it's one size fit all.
No, and not two constellations will be the same.
Yes.
Tanya
yes.
Yogita wants to ask somebody or react.
So, yes, I said we will we'll take questions towards the end of the session.
Yeah.
But and what I wanted to say was, if we can inherit facial features from our parents, if we can inherit genes and diseases and DNA from our parents,
yes.
Why is it that we don't inherit their trauma?
Why do we say? Yeah, I agree. Everybody knows that you can inherit all these diseases, and it's not so. There's not so much scientific research after the most impact that they have, and that's on your well-being, on your emotional body. That's the first and body, the first layer of consciousness that has been influenced even before you were able to verbalize and give things a place in your system. So that's the main influence. However, it's exactly what you say, Hitesh. Science says we can inherit all kind of diseases, and they didn't write much about the main influence, didn't they? Did they?
No, they didn't. And I think they left us with a lot of, our ancestors left us with a lot of things, and we forget to acknowledge many times the biggest gift of life that our ancestors give us. But they also give us the gift of all of their unhealed trauma, all of their unhealed awareness, and all of their unhealed, as we give to our children. They've given to us. And for some reason, we chose this family line, and we chose to acknowledge this, and this is what we carry forward. So what we will be doing is, in Mumbai, is a 2-day workshop on weight dynamics. And how the workshop will unfold is, the workshop is limited to 12 participants only, and 12 participants in a room where Claes will do individual constellations with each of the participants. And the people, so out of the 12, there will be one who will be a client, and the other 11 are chosen to participate in a constellation. For those of you who know how constellations work, it's pretty clear. But for those of you who don't know, from the 11 participants, we will choose the client will choose representatives to represent whatever it is that they wish to put forward into the field. Correct me if I'm wrong, Claes. Like I said, I'm not a constellator.
Yeah, of course, everything you say is right. But that's for every hour. We limit the total to 12 people. So
Yes.
every day we can have 6 clients, and we need the other 11. And the next day, the other 6 people um, each get more around an hour to do a constellation. And during that hour, first I have a little conversation with you about to find out who we really need in a constellation. What's your story, the smallest version of your story about your relationship with your health and your weight. And then we ask other participants in the room to stand in and be in service of the constellation in a kind of a tableau vivant. Everybody will find out how it is to stand in all these different positions of mother and father and sibling and ex-partner, whatever it will be, and ancestor. And there we invite the healing process to happen, and I will guide that. I'm also very much somebody who's inviting the healing process. And in this kind of talks, I talk a lot, and there I'm very much silent, also looking and sensing where the healing wants to reach you and every client. It's really, yeah, I love it.
I love it too. I love it absolutely. So yeah, so that is the format of the workshop. I have a lot of messages and I will reply to everybody individually with the details. But in the meantime, I would like to talk about the next workshop, which is on land and property, class.
Yes.
So the second, in the interest of time, the second workshop that the class will be doing is a similar format, limited to 12 participants. And there will be what we're working on in land and property. And somebody asked me today morning saying, what will we be addressing? I have no land or property that I want to buy or sell, but I'm very intrigued and interested to learn. So I was talking to her, and what was interesting that came up was that she felt her mother, rather her parents, had been unfair when distributing the land between the 2 children.
It's
And
a very clear issue for a constellation. It's really something, yeah, really something I can be in service of. The interesting part about the workshop on land and property is we have family constellation and we have organizational constellations. In the family constellations, we always try to solve and resolve and find and clarify things that are born in ancestors, in your upbringing, with your family. And in organizational constellations, it's about the here and now and the force field, the field of influence on a topic at hand or an issue that's concerning you and lacking energy from you. And in that workshop, everything comes together. Family dynamics, the dynamics of you, power, money, um, uh, to resolve an actual issue or to clarify something that has been bothering you for a long time. For instance, and in this case, property in the family or outside of the family, and how to deal with other people who are also feeling they have a right to talk and decide together. And so it will be even more an experimental workshop because there are even more dynamics at hand. And so we have to really be phenomenological. I suffer from English. Have a phenomenological approach, like really find out after every question where the energy wants to go and what wants to be resolved. What's the real issue behind the question? So it's all about the immaterial parts of dealing with land, property, possession, businesses. That's what it's all about. Maybe it's standing a little bit more with the feet on the ground, and it's more interactive and in the here and the now and the future.
Also, I think it's also interesting to understand how the workshops will work, Claes, because what you're actually doing is coming in for one constellation, but actually the way we've built the entire team is you benefit from 12 different programs.
Yes.
So in either the obesity or the land and property, you might come in saying, I only want to attend one element of the program, but you actually benefit from 11, because in every one of them, you will find some,
yes,
some sorry.
Whether it's about obesitas, weight, or it's about land and property, you will get 12. There's not only one dynamic leading you to the loss of energy that you have. There are so many dynamics, and to get a sense of all the dynamics and get the healing from all these different backgrounds and questions from the others, every constellation that you resonate with is a healing process for all the people in the room, also for me. And you find so many ways of looking at the immaterial influences on land and property and trading, selling and buying and negotiating. So it will be every constellation is an enriching process, and can be a revelation. You never know who benefits the most from a constellation.
Yeah, I think a lot of times as an observer or as a participant also, I have seen so many changes taking place in my life, not just being the client. And I think there's a reason I was recently in a constellation for some reason I was chosen to be the father. And as it is, know that when I finished that constellation and on the way back home, I realized why I was chosen to be in that role.
Yes.
Because there was something with my father that I needed to deal with.
Yes, I've learned a lot from being in a constellation, being a victim without any emotions, or being a victim swelled in my emotions. I've learned really what about where emotions are healing me and where they are drowning me, and I've learned from the position of being a child and a father and a mother and a wife of somebody. So it enriches you as a person, and it gives meaning to every role that you have in your own life. Yeah, it's beautiful what you said about that, Hitesh, because I resonate with that.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's what Claes is doing in India. We've got two beautiful workshops. One is, of course, for those who want to become practitioners, those who want to learn family constellations. One is where you can actually come in, and there are two modules. Module one happens in the month of August, where let me just pull out the dates. Module one happens in the month of August, and module two happens in the month of
December.
Sorry about that. December 21, 22, and 23 August is where is module one, where you learn to do where you actually become a therapist. You are taught the art of how to conduct these constellations over two modules. You only get certified at the end of the second module.
Yes.
Yes.
So in August, there are 3 days for the basic program, 3 days in August, and there are 3 days in December for the basic program. And after these 6 days, you can lead small constellations, and then you really have to experience constellations for yourself by leading them with friends, relatives, online, doing giving little workshops on constellations yourself, or using them in your own practice as a healer or a therapist. You can also learn a little bit to do them in couples, just with your own client. And after that, we will do advanced techniques to really learn all the other aspects of constellations. And there's no end to the program of advanced techniques and themes that you can find all the dynamics in. But that will be later. So when you've started with learning family constellations, and it will be very methodical. So I will really teach you to do them yourself, and I want to teach you all the methods of how you set up a constellation and how you lead it and how you end it in a way that it is fulfilling and healing for everybody in the room. And if you've found the fundament of how it is to lead a constellation, then you need your own experience, and then there are a lot of advanced workshops, but they will be next year, probably, maybe in December.
Maybe in December. I think right now it's about the first module and working with obesity, weight dynamics, and working with land and property. I know how land and property has helped me, and I think land and property is a really beautiful workshop where it's not just if you actually have land and property issues, but in case you feel that you're unable for some reason to actually buy a piece of land, or for any reason you're unable to attract a piece of land in your space or a piece of property in your space, it also helps for those people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all these workshops are really enriching for everybody. And there's also a workshop on ancestral karma. So if you're not, if one of these two subjects is not really for you, and you feel like there's a lot of influence from my ancestors, or there's a lot to resolve and enrich in my life, then there's also a workshop on ancestral karma.
Yes.
And I really think, even if you're only thinking about leading a constellation and you've never done it, it's really great. It's a nice introduction to family constellations if you just join a workshop with a subject, because otherwise you get sucked into the technique of it even before you've experienced the magic of the healing field that we find in constellations.
Oh yeah, I find it so beautifully healing. It's so difficult to actually explain, to someone who's never experienced magic, what magic a family constellation can be.
Yeah.
I have seen people with their jaws drop, like, how did that really even happen?
Now,
okay.
You can summarize very nice how it is. Most people in Holland that send people to me tell me just, I cannot explain what it is about. So you just have to go to Claes-Berend and experience it.
Yes,
people who don't understand it, it's no problem. Just it's an experience that cannot be explained.
Yeah, it's something I think that needs to be experienced. It's one of those things, actually.
Yeah, and I really think start in person. Okay, Hitesh.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of things. I think in case people have questions, we can take them. But before I get into questions, I would like to just answer one question and then end the recording. Okay, thank you so much for that, Claes. I'm going to end the recording right now.